We're trying to check the things off that we got to do on our list when it comes to our kids and our marriage and what we're cooking for dinner tonight and the demands of the job that we have and the ministry assignments that are before us and all of the things that we have to do that go into the regular rhythms of a 24-hour day. There are so many ground level circumstances that aren't unnecessary. They're critical. We've got to keep going from day to day, but there's got to be a moment of time where you decide, I'm going to climb up on the watchtower and have some space where there's silence and solitude, so that for just a few moments there is nothing standing in the way of me seeing the King who is coming to respond to me, of me hearing clearly what it is that God has to say to me. Now, this can be difficult. I know it, because your house is probably busy like mine is, many of you. Or you've got, your phone buzzing and ringing and beeping and all the things that all of our devices do. So this is going to take some intentionality on your part. It's going to take you being proactive. It's going to take you, setting your alarm to get up a little bit early, or driving into the office space whenever we go back to office spaces and getting there, 10 or 15 minutes before the buzz of the office starts. Or when you're in your car, deciding that at this particular hour, because I'm running errands all the time, that I'm going to turn off talk radio, or I'm going to turn down the music just a little while, and I'm going to use that opportunity while I'm sitting outside of my kids' soccer practice. I'm going to use that as the 10 or 15 minutes or half hour that I'm going to devote to having some silence and solitude, pushing aside in my mind's eye all of the demands that I have, so that I can have an opportunity to have a clear perspective on what it is that God wants to say to me. So we position ourselves, not just spiritually in expectation, but we position ourselves by prioritizing some space in our life where we can actually have a clear opportunity, more clear opportunity to hear the voice of God. This does not mean that you have to have a specific place in your home that you go that is just devoted to prayer. Sometimes, we can look at people's Instagram feeds and man, their quiet time looks so perfect, don't it? They've got their little white couch and their little white coffee cup, and everything is so beautiful and amazing and immaculate. It looks like the most beautiful photo shoot you have ever seen in your life. That can be discouraging to regular folk who have, like dinner dishes sitting over there from last night that we didn't get to. Or we've got all the toys from all of our toddlers sitting around it, or all the homework papers from our teenagers that are still scattered across the kitchen table from all the online schooling. Or we got the laundry sitting over there, every single load that, we washed and dried, but we dumped it out on the floor hoping that somebody was going to come fold it at some point. But there it still sits, still waiting on us. And we look at the chaos of our life and we think, can I really have quiet time in here? Can I really expect God to speak to me in a space like this? The answer is yes. The enemy always wants you to think, and me to think, we've got to have something different about our space or different about our lives in order to actually meet with God intimately and personally ourselves. But listen, if the bathroom is the only place where you can find some silence and some solitude, I got to be honest with you and tell you that for many years when my children were younger, I would sit on the edge of the bathtub, I would close the bathroom door, I would lock that door, and I would sit there, and that's where I would have time with the Lord. I have a friend, when her children were young, she used to tell me that she would go into her closet, like she made her actual closet, her prayer closet. And she said, listen, I would sit right under the blouses, where the blouses were, with a flashlight. That's the only space that I could find to have a little silence and a little solitude. For many of you, it's in your car. I mean, you're in your car anyway. Why not make that car a sanctuary? A place where you can meet with God, because you're in that car anyway and you're by yourself there. Why not make that an opportunity where you can make that space a sacred space to meet with God? You've seen people who are doing that. They're driving down the freeway and you just see them worshiping God, and you see their hands outstretched, and you see they're having a whole prayer meeting, a whole church service by themselves in the car. They have made their car a place that can be a watchtower where they can meet with God around His word. Position yourself. Oh, more now than ever, brothers and sisters, we're going to have to prioritize positioning ourselves. We're getting a word from everybody else, from the newscasters, from the media, from the politicians, from our friends, from opinion makers. We're getting news from everybody else. We've got to position ourselves not just to hear them, but we've got to prioritize positioning ourselves to hear a word from God.